Smoke-free, except for one night. I'll tell you about that in a bit. And my casino of choice, the Excite Center at Parks Casino, one of the many things that I love about Parks Casino, Pennsylvania's #1 casino right off Interstate 95 and the Pennsylvania Turnpike in the Philly burbs. Who's coming to town? The Juicy Scoop podcast with Heather McDonald from Bravo and Chelsea Lately, comedian Kev Herrera, rocker Bret Michaels. Wasn't he on Celebrity Apprentice? I think that he was. Comedian Steve Trevino. The podcast Are You Garbage is live on December 13th. Comedian Eric D'Alessandro. Parks Casino, great headliners. You know, Dana Carvey was on SNL as President Biden last Saturday night. And I'm thinking to myself, I saw Dana Carvey at the Excite Center at Parks Casino. That's the caliber of headliner that they get. Parks Casino, this is how you win. ParksCasino.com to buy tickets for all the shows. You got to be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Time now for headlines from the Tuesday edition of the Smerconish.com daily newsletter. I was speaking of Parks Casino. Can I tell you something about Parks Casino? Dinner stories and cigars with Smerconish. And yesterday I said, TC, if the idea of sitting in a smoke-filled room with yours truly is attractive, then come join me Wednesday, November 20. That is the Wednesday, the week before Thanksgiving. This is not a mingle presentation. This is something I've never done before, and I may never do again, which is to have a cigar dinner paired with a meal. And it'll sound like fun, maybe, or not.
There are wine and cigar pairings for a 4-course meal.
Okay, half the tickets are gone.
It does not surprise me a bit.
Half the tickets are gone.
All right, hurry up.
So, no, I'm taking my time because I am holding...
No, I'm saying hurry up and get your ticket if you want to go.
Because I'm holding the menu.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, Randy, for the benefit of the YouTube audience, and I think everybody else will just get a kick out of this because I talked about it yesterday.
You mentioned one course yesterday.
All right, here's the meal.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Grilled garlic sausage, warm bacon potato salad, mustard, truffle sherry cream. Now...
That's the start?
This is the starter with
What happened to a salad?
With
salads don't go.
Not this night.
This is a man's meal.
Forged Irish stout and a Monte Cristo white Toro. Okay, so you can smoke through your first course.
Phenomenal.
Second course
pairs well with sausages. You know what I'm saying?
Roast. You're a foodie. You should love this.
I'm loving it.
Roasted sweet chili garlic salmon, celeriac remoulade. Now paired with that, a Saint Supri Sauvignon Blanc. I love Sauvignon Blancs.
I do too.
And to smoke, a Romeo and Juliet 1875 Nicaragua Toro. Then for the third course, blue cheese filet, fondant potatoes, pepper sauce, paired with a Justin Cabernet Sauvignon and an Onyx Bold Toro. So that'll be your third cigar in this meal.
Right.
Okay.
Perfect.
And then for your fourth course... milk chocolate mousse cake, raspberries and cream, Decoy Brut Cuvée. And I don't know what the cigar pairing is for your fourth course, but of course there has to be one.
Wow.
So that's what you get. And then after you've smoked your brains out, then I'm going to tell stories. And some of them will be true.
And you won't care because you'll just be so happy and enjoying everything.
I love this.
What could possibly go wrong?
Or right.
What could possibly go wrong? So that's at Parks Casino on November 20 in my social media. In the newsletter today, just click on the link and there you go. Poll results yesterday, 32,136 votes cast. Should the moderators of the vice presidential debate engage in real-time fact-checking? 83.52% say yes. I'm not surprised that the yeses carried the day. I am surprised by the margin. Tonight, of course, Norah O'Donnell, Margaret Brennan, CBS, no fact-checking, meaning this will be akin to Dana Bash and Jake Tapper, not akin to David Muir and Lindsey Davis. You just heard from us, Tim Ryan, former Congressman Tim Ryan, who debated J.D. Vance. Yesterday on the program, Scott Jensen, who debated Tim Walz. And Dan, as podcast releases, you can listen to each of those as part of your prep for watching tonight's debate.
100%. What is it like to debate Tim Walz? What is it like to debate J.D. Vance? Each from two people who have done it in the past. From Scott Jensen, who debated Walz when he lost to him in the 2022 Minnesota governor's race, and then Tim Ryan, as you just noted, who debated against J.D. Vance in the Senate race in Ohio. So they bring in their experience. It's 2 separate episodes right at the top of any podcast player, the Smerconish podcast. Find it now.
It's really unique content. And I've noticed that a number of stories, as I thought would be the case in the last 24 hours, have been written about, hey, how's Tim Walz as a debater? And Walz is trying to lower the bar by saying that he's got a case of the nerves. What's J.D. Vance like as a debater? And I'm thinking, yeah, they're all writing these analyses, but we had the 2 people who know what it's like to be on the stage and engage in that kind of an exchange. Today's poll question at Smerconish.com: should California have banned legacy admissions at private universities? I know I'm on the losing side as measured by the poll responses at Smerconish.com today, and that's fine. I am often in the minority on my own poll questions, but I still believe I have the right answer. And the right answer is that legacy admissions and the whole process is often derided, but I think there's a solid argument in support of it. It speaks to the vitality of the university and the uniqueness of a bond from families that over generations send their kids to universities. And remember this, if today, as California is now doing in ending legacy admissions for private institutions, which will include Stanford, which will include USC, a number of those who, by virtue of affirmative action, have been able to get a secondary education and now have kids of their own, they're not going to be the beneficiaries of legacy admissions. And I tell the story, and you know, if I can just say this, as Randy is showing the top of the newsletter, every day in the newsletter, you see the poll question, and then you see Michael discusses today's poll. Listen here. And if you click on it, I've recorded a poll podcast, and I speak in detail here about going back to my 39th reunion. Who goes to their 39th reunion? You know who goes to the 39th instead of waiting for the 40th? The legacy kids. And when I got there for the 39th, which was a year ago this spring, I was amazed at how many in my class at Lehigh had sons and daughters of their own who were then students or who had already graduated. So I'm simply saying that I think there's an argument for legacy admissions. California, we always say this on the Vanguard, if California does it,
California,
right?
Yeah.
You know,
keep an eye.
Straws and plastics and now this and so many other things. So go cast a ballot on today's poll question of the day. And thank you, Dan Coonan, who reached out for me and made a really good argument. Dan Coonan, who's written for the website, was an athletic director at Santa Clara for 12 years, deputy AD at Cal Berkeley, assistant commissioner of the Pac-12, currently the commissioner of the ECAC. And he said, you know, financially, the legacies who come and they pay full freight are what enable others, less advantaged often, to be able to send their kids. The full freight is being paid by the legacy admissions, and he also disabuses of the idea that they are somehow C- admittees, which he says is just not the case. I appreciated his informed opinion. More headlines now from the Tuesday edition of the Smerconish.com daily newsletter. So President Biden yesterday spoke to the public and addressed Hurricane Helene and the aftermath, said that as many as 600 people are still missing in the aftermath of that horrific hurricane. No community more impacted or affected than the location where I was just a week ago. My heart breaks for Asheville, North Carolina. And we put today in the lead position in the newsletter on a busy news day when there's a ground incursion being made by Israel into Lebanon, and tonight is the debate. But in number one position in my newsletter today, how to help Asheville. And it's an Axios well done series of links. It says this: Western North Carolina reeling in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, which brought catastrophic flooding to many mountain communities, leaving them inaccessible and unrecognizable. Thousands of residents are still without power and cell service. How do you help? Axios rounded up the ways to support those impacted by Helene's devastation. And if you're inclined to help, and I hope that you are, click on that, no paywall, and you'll see a variety of places where you can go and make a donation if you are so inclined, and I hope that you will be. Admiral Stavridis, a guest on today's program, talking about Israel having launched this We think limited, but we really don't know. Israeli troops, have advanced into Lebanon. The military has announced in a statement as it launches an anticipated ground offensive. One of the many, as we are now in October, my God, it's October 1st, one of the many things that we could not have anticipated, although Richard Clark did anticipate it, taking place as we are in the 11th hour of this campaign. So, of course, I'm paying attention to it because I'm interested on the merit of what happens. Will they be successful in rounding out Hezbollah? What will be the casualty count? But I'm also thinking about the impact that it's going to have on our election here in the United States. Closer to home, while we were on air yesterday, TC breaking news announcing the passing of one American sports icon. And then last night came the news of the loss of another. Charlie Hustle is gone, a.k.a. Pete Rose. There is a young and not yet bearded version of yours truly in Camden, New Jersey, with the legendary Pete Rose.
Unbelievable.
I don't want to speak ill of those who are gone.
So don't.
I was there that night with Dr. Maz.
Yep.
I was there with Dr. Maz. I'm trying to think.
Were you throwing out the first pitch?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nerve-wracking. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's speaking ill of the dead. I think he's known to have a little bit of a prickly personality.
Well, he was prickly.
There you go.
He was prickly. And I'm trying to think because I don't think Maz was yet out of med school. Maybe he was in his residency. I don't.
He wasn't yet in charge of all of Camden?
No, he's now running Camden.
Right, now
okay?
he owns Camden.
But he was with me that night. Two things happened that night.
Okay.
Number one, I caught a foul ball.
Oh.
And I caught a foul ball.
You threw out the first pitch and caught a foul ball?
It's quite.
How many times does that happen? What?
Wait. There was more to it. I think this was also the night that Ted Nugent was performing down the block, and after greeting Pete Rose, I went to spend time with Ted Nugent.
Was that the
night?
Yeah,
that happened.
Was that the night of the Glock?
No, that was a different night. Liberal Paul may have been caught up in the mix as well, but Maz was definitely in this. The Pete Rose story is that Pete wouldn't. I had brought with me a baseball, and I wanted him to sign it, and he refused to sign it because he was only signing merchandise that he was selling.
Oh, boy.
This was pre-game, and he did not know that I was involved in the night's festivities.
Oh, no.
And my role in the night's festivities was that I was to introduce him to the crowd. That's what it was.
Yikes.
So I see Pete, and he refuses to sign the baseball, and then 40 minutes later, in the tunnel under the stadium, there we are, the two of us, and I then say to him, hey, I'm the guy who's about to announce you.
Now will you sign it?
You feel like signing my ball?
Did
right.
he?
Yes. Now he signed it.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Now that I think about it, Winston, our Cocker Spaniel, was still with us and then chewed up that ball.
Come on.
Yeah, I just remembered that.
That was a long time ago.
It's a long time ago. That was. Well, look at me. Look in that picture.
I see you.
And then Dikembe Mutombo is gone. Dikembe Mutombo, the Basketball Hall of Famer, one of the best defensive players in the NBA, longtime global ambassador for the game, died from brain cancer. He was just 58.
Terrible.
Just
That's
58.
Terrible story.
So sad.
Yeah, met him once in a Wawa. Could not have been more gracious. You met him too.
I met him. He was at one of the games at Haverford. I don't know, Haverford School, not college. And I don't know if this was later. I don't know if his kids or someone was there.
Yeah, he lived around here.
But I don't think they went to Haverford. I think they went somewhere else. I think he was there for a game. But he was just, literally a foot taller than anybody, if not 2 feet taller than anybody out there. And of course, a striking figure with that deep voice. And so everybody was sort of, trying not to look, but looking. Yeah, and I was in a position where I could say hello.
So damn sad.
Yeah.
So damn sad. Oasis ditches dynamic pricing. I don't know that I understand this, but I want to say something about it. Okay. Oasis have announced that they will ditch dynamic pricing for the American leg of their reunion tour after it caused an unacceptable experience for UK fans. The system raises the price of concert tickets at times of high demand. When Oasis UK dates went on sale, some fans were charged more than £350 for tickets with an initial face value of £150. The band faced significant backlash. UK's competitive regulator launched an investigation. the ticket world has gotten so complicated. I'm starting to yearn for the day when you slept out for your tickets or you just paid a scalper. Okay.
So what's going on now?
Well, see, here's what happened to me. I didn't tell the story. What happened to me is that ELO, the Electric Light Orchestra, is on their farewell tour.
Okay.
Jeff Lynne and ELO, Strange Magic, among the many, many songs that pop into my head. I love so much ELO, and I never got to see Jeff Lynne and ELO. So when the tickets were first made available, I bought a pair of very expensive seats. I bought them directly from, well, I'll say it, Ticketmaster.
Okay.
Directly. I didn't go through like a third party.
Great.
I went directly to
went
the
to Ticketmaster, bought your tickets. Expensive.
Fifth row. Very expensive.
Got it. Okay.
Very expensive.
Great.
So then laid on, everything comes full circle, then laid on the Asheville Mingle Project appearance, and they conflicted.
Okay.
So I needed to sell my ELO tickets. And as the concert drew near, I went back to the source and tried to use their portal to sell my tickets. And they controlled how much I could sell them for.
Having sold them to you for X, they now want to sell them
They
for
would not
X
let me
minus.
they would not, more specifically, they would not let me discount them. They would not let me discount them in their portal.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I
You're
assume,
like, I just need to unload these suckers.
right. Yeah. So
What'd you end up doing?
Giving them to a friend, and she loved the show, and all is well. All is well
there
with
you
the
go.
world. But it was just my experience that it was complicated. Jack Oman draws for us exclusively on Tuesday. Jack Oman has a great cartoon. It is Vice President Kamala Harris in, a Harris Walls headquarters, and somebody is showing her the polls. Somebody's making her smile, and it says, ask her if she can hold it for 35 more days.
Well, she's also plugged in.
I think
That's
it's
a problem.
a really great, really, really great.
Oh, dear.
And a reminder, speaking of the vice president, you'll see her again in an image that we are using in the newsletter today, which announces you have 6 days left to order your copy of Smerconish.
So are you saying that the vice president thinks that Smerconish is funny? Is that what you're trying to say?
I love
here?
that. I love that image. I love that image.
Great.
Right?
It's a great smile.
Doesn't
Yeah,
that
great
doesn't that
smile.
look
Good
terrific?
laugh.
She likes
Yes.
it.
Yeah, I think that's Rob Rogers. I think that's Rob Rogers who drew her that way. We just spoke to Rob a couple of days ago about, how do you draw Vice President Kamala Harris, and I'm pretty sure that's his handiwork. So here's the serious message. 6 days left. Monday's the final day. There's only one place you can get the book. I take it for granted that you all know what I'm speaking of. It is all of the editorial cartoons that have been drawn for Smerconish.com from Steve Breen, Jack Oman, Rob Rogers, and Scott Stantis, assembled in chronological order, telling the full story of the election. We hope you'll get it for the holidays. We don't know how this election ends. We're putting a lot of pressure on Brilliant, our printer, because this has all got to happen really quick.
No, we're putting a lot of pressure on the American people to get out there and vote, make it decisive, make it clean. Let's go. We need to know. It's very, very important. We got to get this wrapped up so we can get it printed up.
And again, the question of 5 weeks from, tomorrow,
the whole democracy thing
will we know?
Very important.
Will we? 5 weeks from tonight is election night. I'm kind of taking it for granted that you will go to bed not knowing. Will you know the day after? Last time it wasn't until the Saturday after that we knew. Remember this, though. 100% of the profits go to the Children's Crisis Treatment Center. Something wonderful is coming from this project. So we'd love to. I floated a lofty notion yesterday. Could we get to $100,000 donation? I think we can if you all go buy your book right now. Okay. See ya.
Thank you.